guys, today I just wanted to cover a quick topic about something I've seen becoming more and more trendy, I guess, in the fitness industry in the past year or two, I guess, and that's a lot of these fad diets. In particular, this one's about the keto diet. I did a video on Rich Piana's version, I guess a few weeks ago now, and it's sort of delving off that a little bit. I guess right now, it's starting to come into the mainstream a little bit more, just like the paleo diet did like a few years back, and what people got to understand is that just doing these diets alone are not going to be enough to make you lose weight. They are all adherence tools, and this is the same thing goes with these two types of diets, as well as things like intermittent fasting. Everybody just thinks that because you're waiting to have all your calories at a certain point in the day, the rest of the time you're just burning it all off. They think that just because you have to eat fats and a lot of meat, and if you eliminate carbohydrates, they think that's going to result in a big amount of weight loss. But in reality, probably a lot of that's going to be water unless you follow the certain principles. Bottom line, with all of these different diets, the main principle that you have to apply to is you have to be in a caloric deficit. And if you're not, regardless of if you're doing keto, if you're doing paleo, if you're doing intermittent fasting, it's not going to work for you. And that's same thing goes with, I guess, clean eating and if you're fixing your macros. But obviously, if you're tracking macros, you're probably going to be keeping track of things like your overall caloric intake, as well as your carbohydrates, fats, proteins, etc. But that's a key concept I think people are missing. Carbs are not necessarily the enemy. They are actually probably one of your more important macronutrients in order to be able to keep you performing at an adequate level. So, I mean, granted, if you're not a performance athlete and you're not as overall concerned about being able to keep up a certain type of performance in the gym, then it might be the way to go. But if you're a powerlifter, for instance, I'm not sure doing keto might be the ideal thing for you unless you're really looking at the long game, because odds are if you cut carbs out, your performance is going to suffer a little bit. But point is, general rule of thumb, you have to be in a caloric deficit for any of these things to work. So just something to keep in mind. I feel like that's something that's kind of been lost in translation with all these people promoting it. And I guess the other thing is people start to wonder, I guess, and I see this a lot with a little bit less experienced lifters, as well as just people getting into fitness in general. They tend to wonder why they start to put on a lot of weight once they're done with their diet. And what happens a lot of the time is if you are running a diet, especially with a caloric deficit for an extended period of time, and the deficit keeps growing and growing, eventually there's going to be some metabolic damage that gets done to you. So if you go from just being in that probably regular caloric deficit to what you assume is even your old maintenance calories, you're probably going to start gaining weight a little bit faster than you would expect. In fact, most people would probably even say that probably your caloric maintenance is no longer your maintenance anymore, because you've been in that deficit so long. So you really got to reverse diet out of that, whether it's adding a little bit more carbs slowly each week or fats or whatever you've been cutting out. But you cannot go back to just from, like, let's say a 500 calorie to 1,000 calorie deficit in some cases to just going back to your regular old maintenance. It's not going to work out too well. And a lot of people end up rebounding because of this, and they end up weighing actually a decent amount more than they did when they even started. So if you're planning on going on any one of these sort of diets, I recommend some more than others. Important thing is, once you're done it, you have to have an exit strategy. You have to be able to come off of it in kind of a linear fashion, a gradual fashion, just like you would if you were doing periodization with lifting. If you're not gradual with it, you might have the chance of having some metabolic damage done and gaining all the weight back. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.